Well, hello, folks. Welcome to my jam room slash home studio slash guitar pile and amplifier pile. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Jake. I'm a guitar player, guitar collector, guitar repairman, guitar enthusiast. My handle on YouTube says Guitar Hoarder 1972, but I don't like to refer to myself as a hoarder. A hoarder, to me, I instantly think of someone that piles stuff up everywhere and never ever uses it. I don't do that. I use them, you know what I'm saying? These all get played and scratched and dinged over the years. So anyway, I started when I was really young, guys. I still got my first acoustic guitar somewhere. I pretty much have every guitar. That was important to me. I did give a lot away over the years. And I sold a few. I'm going to say probably around 50 that I gave away and sold and whatnot. But, over over the years, I've seemed to acquire a ton more. This is some drum stuff, drum parts. I play drums too, just in necessity of recording, and got some cool records. You guys ever heard of Thumbs? That was before Jeff Healey, and he played the same way with the guitar laying on his lap. He was an awesome player. It's my first record I ever got in my life right there. Willie Hutch, Concert and Blues. That is a classic. You guys want to check that out for sure. Good version of Stormy Monday on there too. Well, there's some old Control 10s, JBL studio monitors I got hanging up, and there's just stuff everywhere, you guys. You never know what you're going to see here. Here's a rain stick made out of a cactus. I've never used that on a recording, but I suppose you could. So that's just a cactus. They take the spills, break the spills off and cut the end off and put all the spills inside. And that's what you hear. The spills are going down through it. Kind of cool if you ever need that effect. This is a drum kit I built out of stuff across the United States, basically. That was a 62 Slingerland matching drum. That's a 28-inch bass drum. I don't have any pillows in it. I just use felt strip, but check it out. It puts a nice tone out in the room, too. Works good with a bass guitar. And these record really well in this room. This room's 36 feet long. It's got nice high ceilings and they're angled. I was going to treat the room initially for sound, and after I started putting gear in here and guitars and cases and amplifiers, there's a lot of grill cloth up here, and there's just a lot of stuff on the walls to diffuse the sound. It sounds so good up here, I don't dare to even hang a poster on the wall. Honestly, I got a little carpet around the drum kit here, just on the wall. Just thin carpet. And, a few scatter throw rugs, what have you, here and there. Some old PV amps here. That's a 1974 PV Classic, 212, 40 watts. Pretty clean. There's a 80s PV Bravo 112. I know what you guys are thinking. No way. Well, guess what? That's a tube amp right there, guys. You ever see one of them, you might want to grab it. That's a little hidden gem. And ain't that thing loud? Wow. I'm going to go over all my amps too and demo them. I've been demoing guitars and stuff lately, but this is a 1978 vintage PV Heritage VTX. These are really cool too. Now, this was, like the equivalent of a Fender Twin. This was like their version of a Twin. Only this one has 130 watts. And I'm going to tell you what, this thing will untie your shoelaces if you stand in front of it. It's so loud. Not even kidding. I bought both of those amps at a pawn shop. This one and the 74 Classic. I bought the pair of them for $240. I'm not kidding you. It almost broke me in half to lug them out. They were dirty. I cleaned them up. They were filthy, they looked horrible. And, they needed to be serviced and all that. But these are tube as well. Those are 6L6. They got a solid state input and a tube output. The other one over there does too. The one in the middle is tube input and output. It's 100% tube. This is a nice amp right here, guys. This is one of them Fender pawn shop line Fender Excelsior. Still got the hang tags on it. There you go, right there. 13 watts. It's got there you go, two 6V6, two 12AX7s, 15-inch speaker. It's so cool, and it's really simple. I use this a lot. You've been watching my videos. Some of my latest recordings have been done with this and another little Fender amp. I play them in stereo, but all you got, it's got a tremolo, which is, it's a good one. It's just lush. And you got a bright switch and a volume. No tone. You don't need it. There's an old Marshall valve state. That's another hybrid one. That's a tube preamp and a solid state output. I played a lot of gigs with that back in the 80s and 90s and stuff. This is a good one. That's a 70s Sun Stinger 60 in vintage camo. That actually that's solid state, but that really sounds good, and it's got a nice speaker and a nice reverb tank in it. Oh, there's stuff everywhere, guys. There's an older Paul Reed Smith that used to belong to my dad. He gave me this. It's got that like charcoal gray black. Nice axe right there. That's I think that's like a 92, something like that. I think that's when they come out. There's my Valley Arts Standard Pro. That's my little baby right there. That thing is mint. Serial number 293. That one's not leaving the collection ever. I got some tellies too. I've been organizing, trying to consolidate stuff into racks. These are my tellies here. I'm piling them up. That one on the end's a classical. That's not a telly, but I like Telecasters and Les Pauls. I like Stratocasters too, but the middle pickup. I play with my fingers a lot, and even picking, I hit the pickup a lot. After I play one for a few days, I get my arm position right, and I get used to it quick. But these are some good old Strats here. That's my first Strat right there. That's an old Squire. Well, it started as a Squire, and that's been all changed over to like 90s Fender parts. That's an old sleeper. I wore the first neck right out. I just refretted it probably a month ago. I don't know if I shot videos of that or not, but you guys can check out, that stuff. I've got videos on fretwork. I reset a neck and shot a video of that on an old True Tone. This one over here. This belongs to a friend. That was a nice job. It come out good, and it plays really nice again. You couldn't even play it before, so I know I'm just kind of wandering, but that's how you got to do it in this place. So there's a front man Fender. This is I pull the cover off this one. These ones get a lot of hash comments. I can't wait to do a video on this thing, because, alright, they call these the Evil Twin, okay? It's a red knob 80s. Well, I'm just going to clue you guys in. This is not a twin. It isn't even the same circuit as a twin. They call it a twin. Believe me, I know amplifiers, schematics and stuff. I do it a lot. I service all this stuff. Amps, guitars, everything. I build pedals. The whole 40 chord, guys. Everything you can fit in the lobster pot. But I'm just going to say, these are a rare little gem. Well, and a lot of guys say, well, the parts are cheap and the parts are junk. Well, you just play them until they mess up, and then you just put different stuff in if that bothers you. I haven't had any issues with this yet at all. And this thing is powerful. But it's more, I think it's tipped more towards a Marshall circuit than a Fender Twin. You guys can look that over yourselves and make that decision, but I can get some killer guitar sounds out of this thing. I'm going to show you guys here someday, soon. There's an orange. That's a solid state amp too. What is that one? I can't remember. This is the little guy too, the little battery one. You got to have one of them just to have on top. So this is a CR60. Pretty nice amp. For a solid state, it will shock you how nice it sounds, and it's well made. It's got a good speaker. In behind that rack right there is a Roland Jazz Chorus. That's the JC77. So that's a little smaller than the big Jazz with the 212s. This has 210s in it, but it's the same thing. And it's stereo. Has two separate power amps in it. Those are hard to find, these ones, and everybody likes them because they're not so heavy, and you got the same thing. That Bugera belongs to a friend of mine. Those are a nice amp though. I will say that. That's got the Infinium technology. Bang for your buck. That's a good tube amp, and the tube life is a lot longer. And what that Infinium technology is this. Okay, so when you plug your amp into the wall, it might be, in America, you might be looking at, 110, 120, 125, who knows? It can fluctuate. So what that Infinium technology does, it constantly adjusts the power coming to the amplifier so it's smooth and it's even, and that extends your tube life out a lot. Very nice design and a very well built amp. I'm not plugging these guys, I'm just saying it's a nice amp. This one down here, what's this? Oh, these are cool. Guys, if you ever see one of these, all right, I got the top part. This is a mini stack, and this is the 405. It's got 4 5-inch speakers in it. That thing sounds pretty amazing. It sounds like a tube amp. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's the Tube Logic technology. But these were a mini stack, and the bottom cabinet's the hardest to find. But I want one. If you find one, light me up in the comments, because I want one. Here's an amp I got for $2 at a yard sale. Not kidding you. Everything works. Reverb. It actually sounds really good. Compared to like a Bandit, it's got a little different circuit. There's a custom down there. There's a crate. I think that's a Club 30. I don't know. There's stuff everywhere, guys. There's a Princeton 65. There's another Frontman in red. That's brand new. I got some nice F-hole guitars here too, guys. Ibanez, Gibsons. I got that's a nice one, John Schofield Signature Edition. Try one of them out sometime, you guys. I'm not kidding you. That is a weapon. That thing sounds so good. That's probably the best, one of the best ones on the wall for F-hole. Here's a D'Angelico. I did shoot a video on that there, I think. Those are really beautiful guitars. Well made. Nice tone. There's a nice Gretsch. I haven't played this a lot. I've never owned a Gretsch. I really like these guitars. They have a unique thing. Really unique sound to them. And some Les Pauls. I got some Les Paul Juniors. There's a Epiphone SG. You know, like I said, I could go on and on and on for days digging stuff out of this place. There's just stuff everywhere, you guys. That's too deep. Them rows of cases. Them are full. You know, it really is getting to the point where I'm running out of room again. I don't want to sell any of them, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to think of something different, like cut a hole in the attic. I don't know. Hire a storage place. I don't want to do that either. These are all pedals up here. I build pedals too, guys. I'm going to get into that too. I've got so many things I want to do videos on. It's just crazy. I got a big microphone collection. I mean, I got some cool stuff up there. This stuff you just, I mean, you can't even imagine. Yeah, there's something cool. I need to do a video on this. If you ever see one of these for sale, you might want to grab it. That is the best sounding overdrive you will ever hear in your life. It's actually an amplifier. It's a 1-watt tube amp that you could plug into a 412 cabinet. It's not super loud, but I use it as a preamp in front of my rig, and holy cow, guys, that thing is insane. Excuse me, there's the Van Mandolin. You guys, if you're new to the channel, check out some of my other videos. There's some funny stuff on here. I don't take everything really serious. I just like to have fun and joke around, and this channel is just more of a place to come hang out after work with a guy like me and relax and hear some funny stories, and you know how that is, right? This is a cool piece too. This is a record player, and you can plug a guitar into this. See where it says Mike, like the guy's name, Mike? I get that's funny. There's like a car speaker in there, like a 4x12 or 6x9 car speaker. I mean, this isn't tube, but the circuitry in this thing, when you plug a guitar into this, it will almost melt you. I am not kidding you. It's just such a cool sound. And how I got into that was I started building pedals. Okay, here's my pedal board that's in disarray. I've been like trying out different pedals and stuff, but this right here, that is the platter to a portable record player like you just saw. And I made it into a fuzz pedal. And there's a little gut shot. It's all hand wired, and it's all made out of vintage parts. Pretty cool. I figured, it played music at one time. Now it's going to make music. I think that's kind of cool. I've got a few of these, I'm gonna put some more circuits in them, and they're all ready to go. I got them all drilled. The knobs are on them. I just got to put a circuit in them. I'm gonna probably sell a few of them. I'm gonna show you this sometime on its own separate video. You guys are gonna like that. These are cool too. This is another amp I'm using on my videos. I've been using my pedal board a lot of times, just a reverb or a delay, and then I split out of this reverb pedal right here and go to this amp right here, and then I split out of the other side of it and go to this one. So that's what you've been hearing if you've been seeing any videos of me up in this room playing. So, like I said, this is a lifelong collection, and I want to give you guys a little piece of advice right now. If you have your stuff in a basement, you see this right here? It looks like a set of eyes. It almost looks like a snake head looking at you. Those are watermarks, guys. And at one point, I had most all of this in a basement recording setup. Not all of it. I had guitars stashed in every corner in every room of the house, but that's kind of why I built this place too. But I had a pipe break behind my washing machine one time, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I noticed the furnace wasn't running, so I went down in the basement to check on it and stepped in a foot of water. Right there. My amp was in the water. My pedal board was underwater. The pedals all still work, believe it or not. Most of them aren't on. This was on there, and a couple other ones. Most of them are in the rack over there. They still work. I had guitars. This guitar right here, I dumped water out of the F-holes. It was floating in water in the basement. You can only imagine the thoughts that went through my head that day. Oh, good Lord, guys. Thank God I did have cases. I had cases lined up like this, but I had built up a platform probably 8 or 9 inches off the floor, and I had the cases standing on them. So the bottoms of the cases on some of them did get wet, but they never got wet inside, and it didn't ruin the cases either on most of them. But my drum set was there. There was water halfway up the head, a foot. Oh man, if you guys have your stuff where there's a water line above it, or you're in the lowest part of your house, get it up off the floor. Build shelves, put your guitars up off the floor. I'm not kidding you. I was throwing guitars out the window, cases, everything. finally I got it pumped out and took care of the whole thing. But this place is elevated. There's no pipes. I'm gonna keep it that way too. Now here's some cool stuff. A friend of mine used to own a store, and this was a potato chip rack. You know, you'd hang your potato chip or candy or whatever, candy rack. It's on wheels. Works good for this, you know. It's four-sided. I could try to keep my mic cables on one side and guitar cables on the other or whatever. I repurpose everything, guys. Check this out. Those are brake rotors on my mic stands. Those big condenser mics are heavy, and I don't have room for great big Atlas stands and stuff, so I painted those and slid them down over, and that doesn't move. They're nice and heavy. You never know what I'm gonna do. Whatever pops into my head, if I think I can build it, it's game on. This is kind of a cool feature too. This window used to be a door that went into my vocal booth in here. Okay, and I only had this part of the studio. I had my mixing board, and some gear in this little room, and this was all open, and it was just piled up with guitar cases. That was just what it was. So that was just not big enough to work in, even doing my own stuff. So I extended from here to the wall over here with these soundproof partitions. Honestly, I didn't even have to cut anything. They worked out just so. So this one laying on edge, these speakers are covering it, but it's this stuff, you know, office partitions. Works great for soundproof. And so I needed a window for my studio, you know, my control room. So I took that door, I put the hinges on the top, right? So I can open this thing. It's a little heavy doing it with one hand, but yeah, I can open the door. You can actually tune the sound of the room in the control room by opening that door. It's pretty crazy. And it's nice if you're just tracking one person and you're not using TalkBack and headphones, and I can just open that up and you know, talk back and forth, which is really nice. So I'll take you in here and show you a little brief. This is my little control room in here. Jerry's hanging out in here tonight. One of my faves. I like Jerry's playing always. So this is looking back out into the jam room. And I got a good line of sight to everything, which is really handy and a must in a recording studio. I'm using some workstations, some digital audio workstations, but I still use a lot of outboard gear too. You know, I'm still running patch bays and on some stuff, not everything. You know, I use this just for different things. You know, depends on what I'm doing, recording the songs, whatever, the music. Got some old vintage Claricon air suspension monitors. I love these things, and I've listened to music through them for many years. These other speakers are really cool. These are four-sided speakers. I'm going to do a video just on them sometime. I bought those at a lawn sale for a couple bucks. There's no writing on them. I don't even know what they went to, but those things are really, really cool. You know, here's something I'm going to show you guys. You guys might get a kick out of this. All right. There it is. You saw it here first. That's a torch lamp, right? I put an old hi-hat cymbal on it. It's an old thick one, but it works good. It keeps the light from glaring down onto the gear, but it lights the room. It's just perfect. This is just drummer's felt that's clung to the wall. I just experiment, with the room till I get it right, and I can change that at any time. That's what I got in my bass drum. There's one, I just cut a piece of that and put a strip in behind each head on the drum. No pillows, none of that garbage in there. This is cool. This is an old Alvarez dealer sign. A good friend of mine gave to me. It's got a tuner in it. It tells you humidity and temperature too. Really nice piece. I gotta get that hung up soon because it's a tool. It's a tuner too. So here it is, guys. It's just, here's some control ones. I've got two. I got a set of them. Sometimes I'll open the window up and I can set them out in front if I want to use those to mix with too. Here's some more parts and junk, strings, tools. Here's the catch-all room for now. There's more guitars in here too. More gear. There's some old gear here too. That's an old Tascam cassette, Tascam DAT. I got an Alesis ADAT still too over in the rack. There's some guitar parts kicking around, bunch of necks. There's a little everything. You never know. I got a lot of books in here and stuff. That's an old reel-to-reel in there. Good one too. Yeah, just random stuff, guys, is what it is. But I gotta get this room cleaned out, which is tough because I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet. But this is a good room to put an amp in. It's all soundproof insulation. I got mineral wool in here, in the walls, and windows too. Good line of sight back out, to the drummer and even to the engineer. Okay, works out nice, really, when it's cleaned out. I got to get on that here soon so I can start using it again. I'm gonna start recording again. I haven't recorded anything in about 7 or 8 years, so it's time. Just to share one more thing with you guys, I will say this: everybody's been really, really kind and sweet, and I was kind of leery of that at first. I see people verbally attack YouTube guys and content creators, and I'm gonna level with you right now, all of you, that I suffer from a disease called multiple sclerosis. And I'm not trying to hide nothing or anything like that. Some days my playing is okay, and some days it's not. And it's tough for me I can't shoot 90 takes on a video. I'm not trying to cut a record, demoing guitars and stuff. So, just bear with me. I'm doing my best always, and I've been playing a lot more since I started YouTubing, so it's been over a month now, and my playing's starting to get a little better at least. So I'm going to show you guys some tricks and some practice routines I use for that MS stuff too. It'll help you with your cognitive function and your timing and how to sync your right and left side together. It's that's what haunts me the most about it, and of course the pain and fatigue. I'm not going to dwell on that, but if you guys know somebody with multiple sclerosis, don't look down on them. People look at me like, wow, there's nothing wrong with him, but we all try to hide that stuff when we're in pain, and we're tired and things like that. You know, I don't cry about it, and I'm not doing that right now. But be kind to people, no matter what they have, even if they don't have a disease, be kind to people. Good Lord, we need to do that today. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little tour. If you haven't subscribed, I shoot videos every day usually. I try to, depending on how I feel, and if I can't play good, then I probably won't that day. I may shoot 2 or 3 the day that I'm feeling better, or feeling up to speed. I got some nice basses I want to dig out too. I got a nice old 1977 Fender Precision in there that's really clean. There's stuff everywhere. This isn't all the guitars either, guys. I got them stashed everywhere. And we'll dig them out. I've been going through them little by little. I've got some other friends that have some pretty big collections too. And they've been asking me, if I'd like to demo some of their stuff, and if I ever run out, I'll just start going to people's houses and borrowing guitars to shoot videos, I guess. Now, I'm going to shoot some videos on building pedals. I think you guys might like that. It's pretty fun to do. And eventually, when I start recording again, I'm going to get into some recording techniques, how I've been doing it over the years, and, mic and drums, mic and guitars, vocals, all kinds of little tricks that I do and use, different microphones that I use. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, guys. I've really kind of honed it down to what I think works really well. So I'd like to share all that with you eventually, and and see where we can take it. Maybe you guys can help me out with some ideas too. That would be really awesome. All right, guys, you saw it right here. This is most of it, but there's probably another, I don't know. Oh, there's that whole pile of guitars, but I've probably got another 20 or 30 kicking around in different areas, so we'll get to them. Thanks for checking it out, and you guys that are already subscribed, you guys rock, and thanks for your support. This has already gone over and above what I expected. I figured, maybe 10 of my friends might subscribe, and man, I'm already over 100, and a lot of nice comments, and people are sharing information with me about guitars too, which I really love. So okay, guys, be good, and we'll see you very soon. Okie doke.